I didn't steal anything. This is my money. 13-year-old Jessica Williams stood at the bank's customer service counter, her hands trembling, her eyes wide with disbelief. Her voice cracked as she tried to explain, but bank manager Sharon Mitchell didn't care. A girl like you with this much cash? Don't make me laugh. You probably robbed someone. Jessica blinked rapidly, trying to hold back tears. This was supposed to be a proud moment, her first checking account. She had been saving for months. But instead of congratulations, she was being treated like a criminal. "Please," Jessica begged, "can I just call my mom?" Sharon narrowed her eyes. "Save it for the police. I'm not falling for your little sob story." She grabbed the phone and dialed. "Yes, I have a young thief here. Send someone immediately." What Sharon didn't know, what she couldn't even imagine, was who Jessica's mother really was. And in less than an hour, she would find out the hard way. That morning had started like any other. The sun was shining, the air was crisp, and Jessica had practically skipped off the city bus downtown, holding tight to an envelope filled with her birthday money, $800, all gifted by her grandmother. She wore her neat school uniform from Westfield Prep Academy, one of the best schools in the state. Everything was perfect. She had practiced what to say, done her research, and carried every document she needed. She wasn't just opening an account. She was proving she could be responsible. But the moment she walked into First National Bank, the warmth drained from the room. The teller, Jennifer Adams, glanced up at her and instantly scowled. "What do you want?" she said coldly. Jessica smiled, trying to stay polite. "Hi, I'd like to open my first checking account. I have everything I need." Jennifer raised an eyebrow. "You serious? This isn't some community center. We don't just hand out accounts to kids off the street." "I'm 13, Jessica said softly, "and this is my birthday money." Jennifer snorted. "Oh yeah? From selling drugs or stealing, maybe?" Jessica's heart sank. "No, my grandmother gave it to me. I go to Westfield Prep. I can show you my ID." But Jennifer was already reaching for the phone. "Sharon, you'd better get over here. We've got a situation." Minutes later, bank manager Sharon Mitchell arrived. Older, colder, and worse. "What's going on here?" she asked with a glare. Jessica tried again. "I came to open an account. I have my ID, a permission slip from my school, and this money from my grandma." Sharon glanced at the money and narrowed her eyes. "You expect me to believe that?" "It's true," Jessica pleaded. "She gave it to me for my birthday. I even have the card she wrote." Sharon didn't even look at it. "Anyone can write a card. This is probably fake." She turned away and muttered under her breath, "Girls like you always find a way to lie." Jessica froze. "Girls like me?" she asked, her voice cracking. "Yes, you know exactly what I mean," Sharon replied. At that moment, Jessica's world, her carefully built world of safety and fairness, shattered. She realized this wasn't about banking. This wasn't about missing documents. This was about who she was and how she looked. Jessica tried one last time. "Please, if you could just call my mom. Her name is Angela Williams. She's also a customer here." But Sharon laughed. "Right, Angela Williams. Sure, I bet your mother is part of this scam too. I'm calling the cops." Jessica's hand shook as she pulled out her phone under the desk and typed a message with trembling fingers. "Mom, I'm at the bank. The manager called the police on me. Please help." The message sent. And miles away, on the 42nd floor of one of the tallest office buildings in the city, that message lit up Angela Rodriguez Williams' phone. She was in the middle of a high-stakes board meeting with the heads of multiple banks discussing acquisitions worth millions. The moment she read Jessica's text, the room fell silent. She stood slowly. "Gentlemen," she said, her voice ice-cold, "this meeting is over. Someone just made a terrible mistake." She didn't scream, she didn't panic, she didn't have to. Everyone in that room, the same people who had seen her name on Forbes, who had watched her take over the Rodriguez banking empire and triple its value, knew exactly what it meant when Angela Williams said someone had messed with her daughter. She called her attorney, then her private head of security, then finally she called someone she rarely needed, Charles Morrison, chairman of First National Bank, Sharon's boss's boss. As Angela stepped into her black town car, she gave one order: to the bank, now. Back at First National, the police had arrived. Jessica sat in a chair, her arms crossed tightly around her backpack, tears running silently down her cheeks. Sharon stood proudly beside the officers. "She's part of a scam," she insisted, "probably here to launder money." But before they could cuff Jessica or escort her away, the bank's glass doors swung open, and in walked Angela Rodriguez Williams. The room fell silent, tall, elegant, furious. She didn't look like the mother of a child who had been accused of theft. She looked like a storm that had just entered the room. "Where," she said slowly, "is my daughter?" Jessica leapt from her seat. "Mom!" Angela ran to her and wrapped her arms around her. Then she turned to Sharon. "You called the police on my child, refused to check her documents, accused her of theft." "She had a lot of cash," she said weakly. "I was protecting the bank." "You work at a bank owned in part by my family's investments," Angela said, pulling out her phone. "You refused to enter my name into your system. If you had, you'd see I have 3 accounts here, and Jessica is listed on 2 of them." Sharon's face turned pale. Angela wasn't finished. "This young girl came in with proper documents, proper ID, and a dream. You didn't just insult her, you tried to destroy her." She turned to the police. "Officers, thank you. I'll take it from here. If there's an arrest to be made today, it won't be my daughter." As the truth sank in, Charles Morrison himself arrived, the bank's chairman. He looked at Sharon, then at Angela, then bowed his head slightly. "Miss Williams, I'm deeply sorry." Angela's response was calm, sharp, and final. "Fix it." By the end of that week, Sharon and Jennifer were both suspended pending investigation. Jessica, on the other hand, received a personal letter of apology from the bank, a private call from the board, and a scholarship fund opened in her name to support minority youth learning financial literacy, funded by the same bank that once called her a thief. Jessica didn't just walk out with a bank account that day. She walked out with power, with pride, and with proof that silence helps no one, and that sometimes, when you speak up, the world listens. If you believe no child should ever be judged for the color of their skin, hit the like button, share this story, and subscribe to our channel. And tell us in the comments, have you or someone you know ever faced unfair treatment? Your voice matters, and your story could inspire someone who needs hope today.